Hey everyone, I'm Karthik. Welcome back to the show. This is Designer Thinking Live, brought to you by the Million Project. And I'm so excited on the show. As you all know, I get this chance to sit with creative people, entrepreneurs, and non-conformists from around the world who have just followed their heart and they are successful at what they're doing. Today, I'm here sitting with one such person right here in Bangalore, and I just can't wait to have this conversation. Let me introduce you to our guest today, Shwetambari Shetty. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to just be on your show. Thank you.
Yeah, so
I'm excited for his questions, not nervous.
So today, just to set the context right, you are a fitness expert. What do you call yourself today?
You know, I've gone through quite a few designations in the space of fitness, but right now, I'm with CureFit, right? And we just call ourselves fitness experts, right? We are trainers. We train the trainers, we train members, we give a lot of gyan, we talk about fitness in media, newspaper, magazine, we preach everywhere, but we just simply call ourselves fitness experts for cult CureFit. Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about how things were when you were maybe 5, 6, growing up. Where are you from?
So I'm originally from Kundapur. Most of them wouldn't even have heard of Kundapur, I'm sure. It's a village, by the way, and I think it still continues to be a village, except that we have some concrete buildings now. I was born there, and I lived between Udupi and Kundapur not most part of my life, at least I grew up there, right? But then my dad was in a transferable job because he worked at a bank. So I kept moving different cities over the years, and I traveled to most parts of India, right from like Kolhapur or Karwar or Shillong, Bangalore of course. And then at one point we came to Bangalore and we settled here. My parents continued moving, but I was in college, so I settled. But it all started in Kundapur, and yeah, so I'm basically a villager. Yeah, turned to like a...
So for those of you who are wondering what Kundapur is, and for those of you from other parts of the world, we are in Bangalore. This is the IT hub, the Silicon Valley of India, and Shweta is somebody who hails from the west coast of India, and this is a small town. It's a wonderful place. I've been there. And how was your childhood like? I mean, what was it like growing up in Kundapur?
I don't have huge memory of childhood, okay? I know this may sound a little stupid, but honestly I don't. But whatever memory I have, and what my parents keep reminding me of, is the fact that I was one of those children who never stayed at home, right? Wow. I was always out, and apparently it would either be the neighbor's house or it would be a store that was bang opposite my home. You know those typical pan stores, where they sell pan and small candies and all. So I used to really enjoy sitting with the store guy who sold this stuff and selling, right? So I apparently spent a lot of time outdoors with him and with my neighbors, and that's pretty much what I remember. And I just never wanted to be at home. I just wanted to like wander about outside, meet people, talk to strangers. And this is what mom told me. She's like, you always just smile at strangers, talk to strangers. And I remember recently I made a post about it where I said, I don't know how, but I often find myself just randomly smiling at strangers. It could be at like MTR, it could be, when I'm driving and I'm at a traffic signal, it could be anywhere, but I do find myself smiling at random people. So yeah, so growing up was really outside home, but growing up also was a lot of activity because my dad used to be a sports person all his life, but at a very early age he also had diabetes, so he had to be physically extremely active because he had a banking job and he sat most part of the day. So he used to wake up early in the morning, go for his walks, his jogs, exercise, badminton, tennis, yoga. He did all of that to keep himself fit. So I kind of got used to that routine. And I remember I used to do yoga with him, or at least try. Right from the age of 6 and 7, I did yoga with him at home.
Wow.
Right? So I think a lot of what I am today is because of, the things I learned in my childhood, although somewhere in between, you get pressurized by your family, your community, and what you're supposed to do as per society and all of that. So you kind of lost track somewhere, but I know why I am in fitness today, because I pretty much started my childhood all on those lines, right?
So what did you find fascinating in those pawn shops?
I think the candies. I have a huge sweet tooth, right? And sometimes I think that I want to work out regularly and work out so hard is to be able to eat what I want, right? Because I cannot control food in a big way. So I love my cupcakes or my modaks or whatever. So I would still continue to eat them.
Right.
And I'll work out. So I think it's the candies.
Wow. So you were like moving all around India.
Every 2 years or 3 years, we kept moving cities.
And how was it like when you went to school? How was your school life like? Because most often, the reason I'm asking this question is, we grow up in a certain background. We start liking a few things as a child. At 5 or 10-year-old we are, and then when movement happens, like physical places you start moving, you start to realize your interests change. You've developed something, a new interest, or perhaps you are now getting more interested in doing something that's completely different from what it used to be, not going to the pawn shop, but perhaps something else. So at what point were you starting to get serious with your health beyond just doing yoga?
I think growing up and moving different cities was nothing but excitement, because you're like, okay, 2 years of being in one place, and then you're going to be like going into a new place, maybe some new culture, new languages, because I used to speak many languages, right from Konkani and Marathi and this and that, but today of course I can't remember most of the languages, but I felt it was great learning, learn about people, learn about our own country and all of that. So it was a fabulous experience, and I don't regret moving different schools, none of it. But what I realized much later, like maybe after my 10th, 11th, 12th grade, is that I really didn't have like a best friend all of school.
Wow.
I used to make a lot of friends when I was in that school, and I had a great time, whether it was studying with friends or playing, lagori with friends, or doing sports and athletics with friends. But I was never able to continue that relationship for the rest of my life. So if you ask me,
this was not the time when Facebook was there.
Obviously not. Yeah, exactly, right? So if you ask me like, who were your friends in 10th grade, I actually can't even think of one name right now. Like, at least 12th I can think of a name or two, but until 10th I can't, because every 2 years I kept moving. So the disadvantage of it was you're just about making good friends in about 2 years, and then you're gone. So I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but I love people, I love being around people, I am a completely people's person. But somewhere I'm also the kind of person who says, the typical saying, out of sight, out of mind. So I think I have become that person because of this, because of my continuous traveling, and not, okay, it's over, those 2 years of my life is over, the people are gone, it's fine, now move on, you're going to meet new people, you're going to be with new people, and you carry on. But now, of course, we're all grown up and you're settled in one place, life is different, but it has taught me that. It has taught me that if someone's gone, they're gone.
Right.
Like, you've had great memories with them, or some ups and downs, but you cannot be, sad over the fact that the person's not around, you're not friends anymore.
I guess we are about the same age, so I can probably relate to the years that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's like 97, 98, and
Yeah.
you start moving on from school to
Correct.
college.
Correct.
And so one of the biggest challenges a lot of people have, I've been speaking to so many people, I have cousins, small,
Yeah.
very young cousins who are around that age. Today there are a lot of options to
Yeah.
go and pick from, right? But back in those days, it was all about you go to become an engineer or a doctor, or you are good for, or maybe a lawyer perhaps, I'm not too sure. But then how were things like, and what was running in your mind at that point in time? You're like 18, 19 years old.
Yeah, it was
Yoga, traveling, you're like changing, seeing different places.
It was so, if I was given a choice then, I would have definitely taken up arts as my subject. Okay. But arts was unheard of in the family, right? It was unheard of. Like, I would probably be thrown out of the house if I had to like choose arts.
Right.
Because nobody in my family, in my entire family, like immediate cousins, right? Like your first cousins and all of them, everybody is either a doctor or an engineer.
Right.
Right? Or they have pursued their father's business. You know, it could be in the line of hotels, because a lot of the Shettys are hoteliers,
Right.
and all of that, right? But for women, it's very different. First of all, you're studying, and then, you know, you're studying and you're not so good with studies, and that becomes a little bit of a big deal. I actually had a lot of slack from a lot of people in my family growing up, because I wasn't a super bright student. So, I did score good, like 70, 80 sometimes, but most people in my family only did 90s and rank holders and, blah, blah. So yes, my dad just dealt with it. In fact, my younger sister was worse. I think she even failed sometimes, right? So my dad was like, okay, I mean, I'm stuck with these two girls. They're growing up fine, but they're growing up to not be so smart that I can't send them to like, so finally I ended up like taking up commerce, and my sister ended up taking arts. So that itself was like a huge revelation for the entire family. And like when everyone else is doing engineering and doctor, we are here who actually moved away. So a lot of people spoke a lot of things, okay, and I'm just going to be very open in this conversation. It isn't because now I've gone past those days and I've achieved what I had to, and I've settled myself very well, so no one can point a finger. But a lot of people said a lot of things. My parents were very troubled, and they're like, what are you going to do with your life? So soon after I finished my graduation, the first thing he wanted to do was get me married. Okay, which, I mean, typically that would be okay for most of the girls in my family, and I think that's how it works in most Mangalorean or any other households. I think in India, typical middle class family, that's how it works. And I couldn't pursue, like I wanted to probably go and study, in a different country and all of that, so all that was put away.
And where were you at this point in time?
That I had finished my BCom in Bangalore in Jyotinivas College, right? So all that was put away, and dad was like, mom and dad were like, you should get married, And today when I look back and say, my God, I wish I used those years for sports, and I would probably, not sounding pompous, I'd probably be an Olympian or something today in some ways, because that's how much confidence I have in myself when I look at my strength today, right? But anyway, I pushed marriage as much as I could, because that was really not my intention. And I mean, at 21, I didn't want to be married. Right? I pushed it. But let me tell you this one truth, which I probably haven't said in any forums before. As I pushed all those years, because I told my parents I'm happy with arranged marriage, I think I've at least met about 50 different men, all arranged.
Wow.
So I would have to meet them at like this coffee shop, or I would have to meet them in, if you're familiar with Bangalore and Koramangala Club or Bangalore Club, I would have to meet them at weddings, I would have to meet them at an uncle's house, and I used to be dragged to go to these meeting. They're like, okay, you're not going to be studying, we have to get you married, we're at least giving you the option of saying yes or no, but you need to meet.
Right.
So in my head I was like, you know what, I'll do this, But I can't tell you how bitter those moments were, because I had nobody to run to, because nobody in my family understood. And truth be told, I didn't have too many, best friends. My sister is younger to me by 5 years, so there's only so much she would understand. So it was a nightmare. Like there were nights that I actually cried because I didn't want to go through this anymore, but I knew I had no option, right? So I just kept meeting boys and I just kept giving excuses.
Because you had to.
Yeah, and I just kept giving excuses. I said, no, this is not right with the boy, that is not right with the boy. And a few times, of course, even the boy said no, which was a good thing for me. But I'm not exaggerating, but I would have met at least close to 50 different, gentlemen.
And what were you doing at that time? You finished your BCom.
Yeah, I started working. So I had a very brief stint with IBM and Ford. When I say brief, it was more like internship, because I was figuring out if marketing was something I would really want to do. So I had like 6 months with IBM, 6 months with Ford, both of which I didn't enjoy too much. So I decided I'm not going to pursue anything in marketing. And then HSBC happened. When I started working with HSBC, it was a very long term because I loved my job. It was all to do with people. I loved it. But all through, I think at least for about 3-4 years, this went on where I kept.
What were you doing? What was your job? I mean, wherever I read about you, they say you were a banker.
Oh, but so I did complete back-end stuff. So we were handling internet banking. But internet banking was not so prominent here then. This was in, I started I think in 2002. I think 2002. Yeah, 2002, between 2002 and 2003 is when I started at HSBC. And it was all internet banking. So, but we handled internet banking for UK, right? So it was all back-end stuff. So I had a team. So I started from scratch. I started as a customer service executive with a salary of some 7,000 rupees. But then I had, a good growth with HSBC. And then when I left HSBC, like 6.5 years later, I left as a manager and stuff like that.
What was growth?
What was
growth
promotion
for you then? I mean, not now. At
honestly,
that point, what were you looking at? What was growth?
Even today, even then, I would never apply for a promotion or whatever it is. In the typical corporate world, it's called promotion, right? I would just do my job and I would keep doing, and I would be happy doing it, and the people around me would be happy doing it, watching me do or whatever with the result. And then they would say, hey, you should do this now. So then I'm like, okay. So which is you apply for something and then you get promoted, and then okay. Then you stay there for another 2 years, and then they come and tell you, okay, so you've done really good, now you should do this. I said, okay. That was growth for me. So I never said, oh, I want to be there tomorrow. That's not how I moved on with life. I think I got lucky in a lot of places, a lot of the times, but it was never about wanting to be the VP of that company.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't my goal at all. At some point, my goal even changed to saying, okay, I know I have to have an arranged marriage. I'm going to do this, but I'm going to definitely, find the right kind of person, whoever that right person is. I couldn't figure out, and I said, I'm not going to work for too long, maybe until I get married, because that's typically what happens in the family, which I've seen. So you get married, you have babies and all of that, right? So, but I had thought that I will get married and I'm going to probably have like 4 kids, because I really wanted 4 kids. That's no exaggeration, right? This has been a thought forever.
Right.
It's a different story that I don't even have one right now, but I definitely had that in my mind.
Right.
None of it happened, I continued working with HSBC because I simply loved working there. At some point, I guess I got a little complacent also, but it didn't bother me. And the meeting boys continued.
And you were staying with your parents?
Yeah, I was staying with my parents. But the good thing is, when I was 25, I bought a home for myself.
Wow.
Yeah, because my dad helped me with it, of course, and he said, look, this is what you're earning now. You can put aside some money to, you don't pay rent, so why don't you buy your own home, pay your EMI. So I'm a little proud of certain things I've done in life, and at 25 I actually had a a nice 3-bedroom home in, you know, in JP Nagar, very close to work. So quite sorted that way. And I loved my job, you know, without a doubt.
So you come back, you got complacent with your work.
Yeah,
and what happened?
and then that's when I got this offer. My sister actually told me about it, and she said, you know what, they're opening this new luxury health club on Residency Road in Bangalore, and I know the guy who's founding it. So do you think you want to give this a shot? Because they want somebody to manage people and manage operations, and that's what I was doing, you know, with HSBC, managing people, managing operations. So I said, you know what, maybe I should just do this. And it was not for anything else. It wasn't for the money, because it wasn't like, you know, lavish.
But you had an EMI to pay.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would prefer to continue working and not stop, because I had an EMI. But I said, you know what, let me take this up. I have no idea what I'm getting into. I know it's a new health club. I mean, I don't know how to run a health club, because I'm with a very sorted MNC, which is HSBC. You just walk in, you do your job, walk out. 8 to 5 job, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You have weekends off. Perfect, right? You really don't want anything else. And then I got myself into this, and I only regretted that decision, because it was so tough and I wasn't ready for something so hard. It was a startup. So you know what a startup would be all about, right? I would like start my day at 8, 9 a.m. I would go all the way to 9 p.m., sometimes 10. You're bringing work home, you're bringing stress, as they say it, back home. And then I'm like, what am I doing? I'm working on Saturday, I'm working on Sunday. And between all this, I had met Vivek, who I'm now, of course, married to.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll get into that a little bit.
Yeah. So between this whole last bit of HSBC transitioning into, you know, this new health club, I had met Vivek through a common friend, of course, Kritika. So she's actually you can say, is my only best friend, because I've known her from college, from Jyoti Nivas. So it's pretty much the only person who's been with me so many years. Otherwise, I can't think of any names who's been with me from those days. And she's the one who kind of, and when they introduced me to Vivek also, it was with the intention of marriage, by the way. So it just that, just that it wasn't arranged by my parents. It was arranged more like, okay, you know, I think you guys will probably hit it off.
Just came through a friend this time, not through parents.
And maybe the connection was, he loves beer, you love beer, you know, things like that. So whatever. So during this whole transition, you know, we were already talking, we were meeting, we were dating, whatever you want to call it, right? But we were getting to know each other. But I'll tell you what's funny. Anyway, the job is happening on the side, but I'll tell you what's funny. That I'm, you know, with Vivek or whatever, we're so-called dating. We're not even sure what we're doing. But I was still made to meet other guys at this time, because my parents didn't know that I'm obviously, you know, probably thinking about Vivek and marriage with Vivek and all of that. I think they also didn't know, because I wasn't sure, because this man who I'm now married to, at that point, didn't want to be married, ever. So he was like, no, I mean, we're happy this way. Whatever, we can be dating for the rest of our lives. We can probably even live in together. But I don't want to get married. Right? So there's Vivek, there's my shitty job, and then there is meeting these guys. You were at this point working at that health club. The health club,
And what was that job like? I mean, I know a lot of jobs promise you something, but the reality is a lot.
It was really managing operations for the health club. So when I say manage operations, you're talking about managing sales, managing customer service, managing all member service. It could be housekeeping, it could be anything, right? You're sitting there, you're managing the entire P&L and all of that, marketing, everything.
Wow.
So it was very taxing, because for
what did you do? I mean, just imagine somebody, right? I mean, you actually you're offered this new dream job or whatever you want to, but then you go there and all of a sudden you are asked to do everything from cleaning the table to, even like, it's a cliche that you have to scrub the floor and go up and all those things. But, you know, what I am more curious is, how do you pick up these skills that you've not, I know you're a people person, you like managing, managing people, you manage some 30 odd people in your team and all those things, but sales?
Yeah, exactly, right?
What was that?
It was, no,
How did you
so
go about it?
I didn't know what was going to happen, but I just took it up because it really interested me, the whole role. But I learned on the job because there was nobody to teach. I was the first one. It was a new club. There was nobody there except a sales team and a customer support team. It was an expensive fitness center because it's very lavish, very fancy, right in the heart of, you know, Residency Road, Lavelle Road. So expecting fancy people.
Right.
It was all on the job. I mean, today, when much later, when I, you know, started Tribe with my co-founder Sudeep, right? I think the experience I had at that fitness center did it all.
True, but that experience is what a lot of people struggle with, right?
Yeah.
People always, you go apply for a job, they talk about having experience, and getting that experience is where the hard part is.
So here's what
you
happened.
were here right on the...
I was there. I experienced it, but my experience was only for 7 months because I finally quit. I said, you know what? But the real reason for me to have quit that job was because I could not. That same year, at the end of that year, I was getting married, and I could not focus on getting my wedding together because of that.
Okay.
Right. So I only lasted that very tough job for 7 months, but thanks to that job, that's where my journey in the space of fitness started.
And this was the year?
2010. 2010 June is when I joined, and December is when I quit. So that's why I said, so between transition from HSBC to, you know, the health club, Zella, I, you know, met Vivek, I struggled with the job, I was again meeting guys, and my husband was like, I mean, my now husband, then of course just Vivek, he'd be like, yeah, you should go meet. It's okay, I mean, you're anyway going to get married at some point to someone else.
Right.
So that sort of a thing. But what happened that year was the job was like, okay, you know, I will go through it as long as I have to. But at one point, I put my foot down and I told Vivek, I can't do this anymore. We need to like stop meeting because we know that nothing's ever going to happen. You don't want to get married. So let me focus on my job, which is not the best right now, but I need to make it the best. I need to learn. I need to, you know, and let me focus on meeting that person who I can probably get married to. Right? So I had just 2 things to work on, and I worked on those 2 things. And what happens while I'm focusing on that, 2 months after I told Vivek stop, he writes me this long email, okay, and which says, you know what, I'm going to get married. I can't do this. I need to, you know, and that's where everything kind of...
Wow.
Yeah. So then this was probably when he wrote to me, was maybe about October end or something. And then I went ahead and told my parents, and my parents were, of course, pissed about it because they're like, all these years you said you will marry who we ask you to, and you put yourself through this trauma of meeting people, put us through this, and now you're saying you want to marry this guy. So it was a bit of drama, but I, of course, ended up getting married. And so the same year, December 29th is when we were going to get married. And that's when I decided I cannot do this if I have to focus on my wedding. So I quit the job because of excess pressure and because of my wedding. So it's not because I, you know, just couldn't do this anymore. I know I would have to put in a lot of effort if I had to continue. But I did want to experience my marriage as well. But you won't believe it. I left for my marriage 2 days before the wedding. 2 days before the wedding. My wedding blouse was tailored by my sister. Right? So when I'm into something 100%. So I didn't want to just leave my job, you know, just like that, because I know I was going to quit and get married. I did my bit. I gave it my all. 2 days before the wedding, I said goodbye and I went to Kundapur because that's where I was getting married. So that's how everything just turned around. But the highlight is when I worked with this health club, Zella, is where I got trained for Zumba.
I see.
Yeah, so I got trained for Zumba there, but I had no intention of going for the training. I was pushed into it by my one of my senior managers in the health club because they knew I love dance and I've done some, done a lot of dancing all through my life. So they said, this is a perfect combination of dance and fitness, and it's going to be the next big thing, and we should be the first club to have it. So go get trained in it.
How did they know that you were interested in dance?
So I think it's all in the fact that we speak about it, talk about hobbies and conversations and, all of that. And I said, okay. So I went into that training extremely reluctant, 2 days of sheer, like boredom, because I didn't want to be there. But of course, the trainer who was training us was brilliant. She was a beautiful person. She danced so beautifully. So the experience as such was nice, but I wasn't willing to be there. I came out of it, I quit, I got married. I was living my life, right? So 3 months, 4 months into the wedding, I was just sitting at home thinking of, what should I do now? I'm not sure. I don't want to probably get back into corporate because I've had many years of it. And that's when Vivek said, you remember that dance course, Zumba, something that you did? Why don't you look at pursuing it, like from home, from a studio around the house?
What kind of person is Vivek?
He is very giving, right? Like he would not stop me from doing absolutely anything, and he has like just unlimited trust.
Because if someone has to suggest you something like that, he probably understands you a little more than...
No, he understands me 100%. In fact, I don't think I understand him 100%. Right, but of course there's enough love and care and affection and understanding and respect. Like I allow him to do exactly what he wants, and he allows me to do exactly what I want. We have a lot of space that we give each other. We have a lot of respect, and that's how it's gone on, right? So I mean, you just can't live on love and fresh air,
right?
Right? I mean, there's only so many years that you can keep saying, oh, we love each other and we whatever, but it's just about how much you understand each other. And he did that all these years. We're going to be 10 years of marriage, and it's just that. It's because he let me be. Like, I don't think all my life I had so much freedom that I had after marriage.
Nice. So,
to do what I want.
2010,
I got married.
What is it? 2011 by then? When you were actually...
Yeah, so I
after
started,
marriage, you were like thinking about what to do.
2011.
And you had this conversation with Vivek.
Yeah, but no, I started off in Feb. I think I just gave it like 1 or 2 months, and in Feb 2011 I was on my...
What did you do?
So I approached a couple of places to start Zumba classes, and then another trainer, a Pilates trainer who used to be in Zella with me, the health club, the previous health club, she approached me and she said, you know what, I have a small studio in Koramangala. Can you come and take a couple of Zumba classes? Because nobody understands Pilates.
Right.
So if I put Pilates outside on the board, nobody will get attracted to it, because people need to learn more about Pilates before they do it. At least with the name of Zumba and with fun dance stuff, they may at least come in, and then we train them. I said, fair enough. I started my first class with 1 student, and it was disaster, but it's crazy. It was a disaster, but how I went back home and I said, there was so much joy in this. Right. I just sat there and I was talking to Vivek, and I was like, it must be just 1 student, but she thanked me profusely for giving her that 1 hour of fitness. Right. Making her sweat, making her smile, making her lose some calories, She just kept thanking me, and she said what a great experience she had. So at that point, I'm like, I'm enjoying this not because the class went great, but because I was able to change somebody's life for just that moment. It's short-lived, but I knew I was making a difference. I knew I was bringing a smile on somebody's face. So then I said, you know what, I want to do this for a little longer. Let me see where this goes. So then my 2nd class, 3rd class, 4th class, and by the end of the month, we knew we had like 11, 12 students in that 1 class, and that's how much we could take. But the next thing, because it was a niche, format of fitness, it was just coming into India, and I was probably one of the first trainers to get trained in India. Every other gym started calling me.
Interesting. I mean, I really want to do this, and I know those of you watching there are many people like me. You know, for a long time, I thought Zumba was something funky, something that.
Yeah.
I mean, I always, I grew up in a very, aggressively fit way those days. But those days, one of the things I used to do is close the room and dance with the music on.
Yeah.
And whenever I looked at these Zumba videos, I just saw people like having fun. They're just dancing, and I thought, why are we paying so much money for somebody to just go and dance? I mean, as well lock your door and play some music and do whatever you want to do, right?
Yeah,
what is it? I mean, what is it?
What I've understood in the last so many years of doing so much of dance and fitness and Zumba, whatever, is that people love music, people love dancing, right? A song plays and you can relate to it, you start humming it whether you know the lyrics or not, or you start like moving your feet or moving your body, you just get lost in it. So it's one way to kind of really unwind, to get all your stress out. Then the second thing is to just move with music, which will help you not only unwind and de-stress, but also help you burn a lot of calories. So when you like just put great music with simple steps, which even a non-dancer can do, you've got a great workout mix.
How different is it from what I used to do, like a
You did impromptu.
amateur?
No, you did impromptu stuff, but you still moved. You moved to
Is
music.
that Zumba?
No, that is dance and that is fitness.
Okay.
Why does the fitness element come in there? Because you're sweating and you're burning a lot of calories. If you walk, say 15,000 steps today, will you burn X amount of calories? Yes, you will, right?
Exactly.
Movement burns calories. What we are doing right now is not burning any calories, right? But if you move, whether it's in the form of dance or form of jogging or walking or cycling or swimming, all of this, the body is moving, so you're burning calories. The only thing that's different about this is you are moving to music. It makes it all the more fun. Right? Why were you locking the door and dancing while you could go out for a walk or a run? Because it involves good music and you just enjoy it. So you have all types of people, all age groups, all fitness levels doing this format.
Wow.
Right? Because it's simply fun, and in the bargain, you're losing weight.
Hold on. I see that you're calling it fun multiple times.
Yeah.
But I remember you talking about your first experience with that lady who taught you, and you found it a little boring.
Yes.
What changed?
Because I didn't want to be there. It was personal choice, right? I just didn't want to be there. I was forced to be there for those 2 days and get trained. I only realized what value this had when I started training people, and when the people in return started telling me, oh my God, thank you, you're a blessing, and things like that. And I'm like, wow, really? I mean, can I make such an impact on anybody's life? It was shocking to know that I could. Because for me at HSBC, it was working with 40 people in my team and, and making an impact in their life, right? And even then, now when I look at everything, I'm just meant for people. That's what I've concluded. Like even when I was with HSBC, I worked with these 40 people and we were like a family. Like we would do anything for each other, right? At 12 in the night, if I were to call on one of my colleagues or my team members for something, I know they would be there. Right? So it was similar impact here that I was teaching, not verbally anymore. It was more physical, and they were reaping benefits from this, where they were losing weight, they were, just feeling so much better in their head. People would come with a lot of stress from work and home, and they would just do one class and they'll be like, wow, thank you for the class. Like the number of messages I would get after a class that said, thank you for that morning class. I can't tell you how amazing I'm feeling. And that was it for me. That was just it. So I just started taking classes everywhere.
So you start taking classes.
Yeah.
You're getting good feedback.
Yeah.
In other words, people start liking you.
Yeah.
And on the other side, you have a home loan going. Your account is getting debited every month. You have a new marriage on. What were you thinking about finances and stuff?
Okay, here's the other thing. I'm sorry if it sounds cliche, all right, but I've never ever thought of finances. Not because, like I said, I grew up in a middle class family, so it's not like we've grown up having a lot of money, absolutely not. But somehow I've never felt the need to work, X number of ways or whatever to earn this much. I felt like if you just continue to do what you enjoy and what you love, and if you keep giving, it will just come in some way. And I know being married to Vivek itself was that one blessing, because he was the earning member. And of course in the IT, you were in the IT space, right? So the IT space paid fairly well.
Right.
So I think because Vivek was there earning quite well, I wasn't, it was enough for both of us to have a good life. Our needs were very basic. We needed food, we had a shelter, we had a small EMI to pay, and both of us love our beers, and that's pretty much it. So we didn't have any fancy stuff. We weren't about, oh, let's get a fancy car, let's have fancy holidays. We were not that at all. So we were very happy with what we had. So there was no struggle for finance, there was no running after finance, there was no planning of finance. So the beauty is, I kept doing these classes, and at one point I realized I was doing about 3 classes a day, 5 days a week, and I was earning a lot more than I was earning in my corporate job. And I still had time for my family. Like, I would come home, if I had to do some small cooking or something, I could, because I would have a class at like 6 a.m, I would have a class at 10 a.m, then I would have a class at like 7 p.m, and that's it. Between the classes, all the time was mine.
And how did you get your word out? You have so many classes all of a sudden, apart from the first one.
That's because I was lucky to be in the market right at the beginning. Today, it's like
crowded.
Way too many trainers. Like, I think the country has close to 4,000 plus trainers.
Yeah, I just looked up Google yesterday, or I went to Zumba website just to do some research to understand what. There are 285 Zumba trainers in Bangalore.
No. There are about 500 in Bangalore.
A lot of them not registered.
Not registered, yeah, exactly. A lot of them who've trained, but they've not continued their license. Maybe that's why. But there are 500 plus, because I know when I was training people, I had in the 2-3 years that I trained the trainers, I would have churned out easily to 5,300. Every month I trained people, and every month I had anything between 30 to 50 people coming in for my training. Yeah, so it's quite large.
Talking about Zumba, I mean, I think I get that. I get what Zumba is. I'm just curious to pick your mind and see what it is. But I've seen this trend in a lot of youngsters, going in gymming a lot.
Yeah.
Trying to lose weight or gain weight or whatever it is, and not think too much about, like you talk about enjoying beers and having a fit life. Where do you strike the balance? I mean, what are your views on striking balance between eating, indulging versus staying fit?
Yeah. So this is what I practice, and this is what I tell everyone. Now, if you have a goal, okay, and if that goal is tough, right, which could be, I want to lose 15 kilos, 10 kilos, 20, 25. I mean, there are people, right, very obese people who want to lose like 25 kilos. If you have such a strong goal, or if you have a goal of competing, right, or if you have a goal of like going on this really crazy trek, mountaineering or something.
Right.
If you have such strong goals, altering your food or eating for that goal will become extremely important, and there is no other way. There's no cheating, right? Impossible. You have to follow that, and it's best followed with a guidance of the nutritionist. But if your goal is to simply be healthy, just go on with life being healthy, then I would say do not deprive yourself, but like eat your junk in limitation. So when I say junk, I'm not even meaning typical junk. Like, I would still say no to burgers and pizzas and all of that. But if you really crave for it, it's okay. Do it once a week.
Yeah.
Can you satiate yourself with once a week? Of course, yes. Because it's about how you create a habit, right? Through the week, if I'm eating homemade food and fairly healthy homemade food, your body gets accustomed to it. So it doesn't crave for so much of the rubbish. But through the week, I keep eating out, then my body will automatically start craving. So I just tell people, don't deprive yourself. Like I eat my, if I have to eat a cupcake, I will eat it. I will not stop myself, but I'm not going to eat it every day. Right? Having said that, do you just continue to do that and not exercise? No. So you need to move. So I also tell people, if you don't have time to exercise, like go to a place, spend half an hour driving, then 1 hour of exercise, half an hour driving back. You don't have that kind of time, do stuff at home. If you're not confident of doing stuff at home, simply walk. Clock about 12 to 15,000 steps a day. It's very easy. Your phone can tell you, your watch can tell you today, right? You're sorted. That's for your general fitness. 15,000 steps a day is a lot. It's
quite a bit of
and it's brilliant. It's possible. It is a lot, but that can keep you super fit.
I've been using this, managing 10, 12,000. So
it's totally possible. But then if you have a goal, like for me, one of my primary goals has always been to gain strength, become a little more muscular, because I've always been petite, right? So when I have to work on being muscular, then I have to ensure there's only so much of fat and carbs, there's so much of protein. So you kind of work around it, but I'll still enjoy my, if I have to, like I said, do that couple of beers over the weekend, I will do it. But if I'm competing for something, then I know those 3 months have to be super disciplined. That's it. So it's all just kind of playing with your goal, being consistent and not...
So let's go back to that moment, right? And you were
doing classes
having multiple gigs through the day, you were having enough time for you to cook and spend time at home and all of that. What was, what was bothering you that you need to do something more than...
No, so here's the thing, right? We spoke about growth earlier, remember? When I was with HSBC, what was growth for you? Even then I didn't know what growth was. When people told me, you know what, you should do this, I would do it. And the exact same thing happened even this side of my life, right? I was going on with my life teaching, and I had so much fun because I taught in multiple parts of Bangalore. I met so many new people every day, and I was having so much fun. I was making just enough money to, live my life happily, and I couldn't have really asked for more. Right? I was doing a lot of events. I was getting invited by a lot of, corporates and so on and so forth. I had a lot of cover from media, like from newspapers to magazines.
When was this?
2011 and 2012. All through 11 and 12.
Still not crossed the 2012.
No,
2013.
This is all through. 11 is when I started. So 11, 12 and 13 were my peak years of teaching Zumba, and when I did a lot of things. And like I said, a lot of big events, a lot of first time in India events, like, big events where 600 people, 800 people turn up.
How do you break into such crowds?
I don't know. I have no, I don't know what it was.
People struggle. People, I met a stand-up comedian some time back, and he was struggling to, break that 50 people mark. Stand-up in stand-up comedy, apparently doing it in open mic sessions in the pubs are a great thing, and there you have limited crowds, like 50, 60 people, and he was like saying, I'm struggling to go beyond that. So like, what was your experience? You're like taking classes. Now, what led to that big event, your first big event?
No, so it was always, you have these things in mind and then you don't know how to kind of implement it. Then you have this one person who kind of reads your mind and says, hey, you know what, I think we should do this. And I'm like, I was just thinking the same. So when you have these two people coming together and you have the exact same goal, you just make it happen, right? So I had that one person with me every single time in my life.
That was...
Right? Whether it was Vivek, who helped me kickstart, or these big events, or later on it was Sudeep, who came into my life. Sudeep Kulkarni, he's my ex-business partner. But this whole 2011, 12, 13, I was teaching so much and doing these events. And at one point, I overworked myself physically and I had an injury on ankle, right? So I had to take a break for about 6 months to recover. And that's when Sudeep, who also, but he's an engineer, from a Brahmin family. He was also a little bit of a rebel, wanted to try out something different. So he went and did his Zumba certification. We got connected through somebody, through another trainer, because I was looking for someone to substitute my classes. So he came into my life, I think somewhere end of 2012, I'm guessing. And 2013, he helped me take a lot of classes because of my injury. We just became good friends,
right.
And he had crazy amount of ideas that he would keep talking to me about. And at some time I would be like, shut up, I don't want to know your ideas anymore because I'm happy with life as is. But at one point he came and told me, Shwe, everyone addresses me as Shwe. It's like, I really want to create a space where fitness becomes fun. All of us are teaching Zumba. Zumba is fun, and that's why we teach it, and that's why people come to our class, because we have so much good energy we give people, and so much love and positivity we give out to people. But how about creating a bigger space that can have multiple things which are fun? Why only this? And that's when this space was created. So we spoke, and again, like I said, it wasn't my plan to grow. It wasn't my plan. I always said, you know what, at some point in my life, I want to have a boutique studio of my own.
Exactly.
Like
we all have dreams, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you probably want this setup to be permanent in one of your places where you can just keep calling guests and, do this, right? So I had this boutique studio where I wanted to give personal attention to people. Like I would like to train you one-on-one, help you achieve your goal, do everything I can to handhold you from scratch. That was my goal. But then this guy comes to me and he's like, let's create this space. So we did a lot of brainstorming. I mean, amongst ourselves, sometimes use Vivek, some Vivek's friends, throw the idea so that they can get very critical and question us on every aspect so we know we're covered. But when he came to me, he said, we'll have to take a loan, we will put in whatever money is there, and we'll just do this. So you won't believe it, but it didn't even take me a full day to go back to him and say yes. I just spoke to Vivek about it, and I told myself, I mean, you have one life. If you are not going to take some risks now at this age, when else will you, right?
True.
I know a couple of years from now, somebody will create a space like this, and we will be looking back and saying, shit, man, that was my idea. Yeah. So we said, forget the money, whatever we have, we'll put in, and if we don't make it, we go back to corporate or go back to teaching in independent classes, and it doesn't take much to live, right? So then I sold that house which I had purchased back then, and fortunately for me, I made a good amount of money reselling it. I used some amount of that money for Tribe, and then some amount of money for something else, whatever. And then Vivek helped me. He had his PF and all of that, so he kind of broke that and gave me that money.
Wow. So Vivek had to leave his job?
No, he didn't leave his job. Okay. He continued the job, but he got his PF out to fund for this. So we were three of us when we started. There was Sudeep, there was me, there was Nikita. Three of us started this, and all three from we met because of Zumba and all of that. And we put in our own X amount of money. We got a collateral-free bank loan with SBI because his parents were in the bank, and we made it happen. Three of us sat in his car. We would go round and round and round 100 Feet Road in Indiranagar to find a property because we didn't want to invest in a broker.
Okay.
Right? And it's different, right? When your broker is taking around. So we looked at multiple areas, and we thought Indiranagar is a great start because Indiranagar has a lot of money. Although other areas have, but here people are more open, and there are different people from different cultures, different countries who live in Indiranagar, right?
Exactly.
So we said we want to do it no matter what. And then what we did to kind of do further research, because we didn't want to pay lakhs of rupees to these research companies. We created a questionnaire which was like this much, which had about 8-9 questions about what kind of fitness would you like to do, how much would you like to invest, and you won't believe what we did. I would go to Nature's Basket, coffee shops, and I would take permission from Sudeep. Wouldn't do it because he never thought he could do this thing. And I would just smile and say, please, will you give me 5 minutes of your time?
Wow.
You keep shopping, I will keep asking you questions walking behind you. So we did that. We, you know, like people at Nature's Basket would be shopping and I'd be walking behind them and like asking them these questions and making notes. And I can't even recollect how many we targeted that way. Coffee shops and wherever. So wherever we thought that our kind of people would be, when I say our kind, I would say certain kind of paying capacity.
And
we would want
people interested in fitness.
Yeah, exactly.
Nature's Basket.
Yeah, that's why we chose certain places. And we had a good amount of data to understand what are we going to do, where are we going to head.
How many people did you speak to?
Oh my God, hundreds. Like
I'm just trying to understand what is good amount of data.
No, hundreds of people.
Starting something with a physical space.
So for us, we knew that to kickstart when we do the math, right? If we, before opening up the center, if we have to have about 100 strong members, paid members, it's a comfortable kickstart.
Correct.
And each of these members paying about 30,000 per annum, right? It's a good start.
Right.
And then we had the loan, you know, we had like, because we have huge rentals and we did have huge rentals. Like we were paying, I think, 4 lakhs when we started in 2014.
Wow.
So 2013 went in just, you know, like planning and researching, and then we found this space. You know, we went to
where
the
we're sitting right now.
Where we're sitting right now. Yeah, this is just as is. Nothing here has changed except a few things on the wall. We went to, you know, the landlord, and I mean, I didn't think in my life I'm going to do stuff like this. Like talk to the landlord, you know, haggle about property and square feet.
Commercial space.
Yeah, commercial space, and that too on 100 feet road. It was so hard.
Right.
But we did it, and we really had no elders helping us, by the way, right? It was just Sudeep, Nikita and I, and Sudeep and Nikita are much younger to me. So we went on, we finished that, we then started off with the architect work.
Right.
We kick-started, and you know, 2013 end is where we started work. By 2014 Jan we had it ready. So Feb we had a soft launch, and March we had an official launch. But the previous month, like in December, we did a proper pre-sale. So I sat in Imli, there's a coffee shop down the road.
December you said that.
Yeah,
That's
Jan we opened.
4 months before.
Yeah, 4 months before the official, 3 months
launch.
before. Yeah, I sat in Imli and I sold 108 memberships.
Wow.
I didn't know I could do selling until then.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you do?
So,
what
first,
describe step by step what you did there.
No, first target was of course all my members. So I used to teach in Indranagar.
Right.
I had my freelance classes everywhere, right? Koramangala, Whitefield, Jayanagar, Indranagar, everywhere. I was teaching everywhere. I had taken a break because of my injury.
Right.
But all my members I was in touch with, right? Because we all had like this really strong relationship. And in fact, I'm in touch with them, most of them even now, despite not teaching them. And I called upon each one of them, and I'm telling you, almost 80% of them joined.
Nice.
Without knowing what this is going to be.
Right.
They just gave me checks. They just gave me checks only based on trust and respect. Because they've seen me the last 2.5 years and what I've done. Like, I've done stuff like on my way, like when I would wake up in the morning, this was during my classes, right? Like I would wake up at 5, and from 5 to 5:30 while I'm brushing and everything, I used to call my members to wake them up.
Wow, personalized service.
Yeah, like I know that they may give me the money, but if they don't come, they're never going to retain. So what do? I'm a small business, I'm alone. So I knew I had to do these little things to help them stick. And they would never leave me for those little things, right? And then on my way, I used to live in Koramangala, and when I used to come for my Indranagar classes, if I had to pick some girls because they wouldn't get cabs and autos in the morning, I would pick them because I used to drive. So I could easily take like 4 or 5 other people in my car. So I used to pick people on the way, and we used to all come to class together. We'd finish class, we'd go for coffee. So you know, you'd already built such a strong relationship. Like they would like trust you tomorrow and give you any amount on the check.
Yeah, like building a community, not a business.
Yes, totally. It was a community. It was exactly that. So all these members were just them. My members telling their friends, hey, Shwe with 2 other friends, she's starting this place, and I'm sure it will be amazing. You should join. So it just became a little viral.
Word of mouth.
Yeah, that's it.
You said you were at Imli trying to sell. Now, at that point, did your social media and press coverage play any role
So social media at that time, I would say I was not heavily active, like Facebook a little bit, but Instagram wasn't even there then. In 2014, I don't think I was on Instagram at least. Honestly, it wasn't so much the social media, or the media or anything. That to a small extent. It was only after Tribe opened a lot of more media happened, you know.
Right.
But at that point, it was just pick up the phone, talk to your people. They will send out 10 other messages to their people.
Right.
Then we would be here, we would give them a tour of this place, right? It was nothing, it was just brick, right? It was getting done, but we would still give them a tour of the place to say, hey, this is where the RPM is going to be, the cycling studio, that's where the yoga is going to happen, that's where CrossFit is going to happen. And the good thing was, we were pretty much the first CrossFit box. So CrossFit is a niche format. And Sudeep, my business partner, had gone to Singapore to do the certification. And I think he was one of the first few in India who got the certification done. So we had some of the niche formats which was only, you know,
captured Zumba and CrossFit.
All of this together was very hard, and we had it going. So that's the other reason why. Then a lot of men would come and they were like, you don't have machines, you don't have, you know, like hardcore weight stuff. Like, how are you going to train us? Like, it was very different. And it took us a while to kind of break that barrier, to prove to them that you don't need machines to work out. You know, you can use your body, you can use weights, you can use anything heavy around you and work out. But it happened. You know, Feb we had a soft launch. We sold 108 pre-sale membership. The soft launch we had in Feb, official in March. And right from day one, we were successful. I know it's really strange for anyone to hear that. But we didn't have to like reinvest, nothing.
We were breaking even
every single
right
month.
on day one?
Every single month we had all the money we needed to pay our rent, to pay our salaries, and we still had a small amount that would just lie there in case we need to, like, you know,
put it back into the
Yeah, so I'm not saying we were heavily profitable or anything, no, because we were not withdrawing salaries. Like Sudeep and me and Nikita never withdrew any salary, right? For Sudeep and I, for 3 years, we didn't withdraw any salary. For Nikita, one of our partners left just after the first year because it was very hard to sustain. The pressure was insane.
Right.
So somehow I think, I was...
What was it like the first year? I mean, I know it's easy to start something, but running something or maintaining it?
I mean, when I look back, it's scary because I've cleaned toilets. Like, I've really cleaned commodes. And
public toilets.
Like this is public, right? Because you have hundreds of members.
We all kind of think about. Go ahead.
No, I mean, today when I look back, I'm like, wow. Like, you know, I cleaned those toilets, right? And I remember Sudeep and his cousins and Vivek and all would do the grouting because these labor is so hard, right? Like catching hold of them, suddenly they disappear, and we had to, like, you know, open certain parts. Like, we opened the entire space part by part because, you know, of a lot of issue with labor, but we opened part, like this section opened first, then that section. So overnight these guys would sit in the washroom and do grouting. Right? It was crazy. And in the first month when we did unofficial launch in Feb, we didn't even have the toilets ready. So the members would come, and this is how much love and respect, right? If they wanted to pee, right? If they wanted to use the washroom, they would go to MTR or Domino's. And they wouldn't complain. They couldn't shower, they couldn't use the toilets, but they came, they worked out, and they had a fabulous workout, and they would leave happy. And I think for me, it was just that. It was the fact that when someone can trust you and show you unconditional respect and love, you just want to keep giving it back. So Sudeep and I continued the business. Nikita had to leave, so she, you know, took her money, etc. She left, and both of us continued. It was tough because you just had to meet expectations of people, nothing else. Not financially. Financially, we were fine. But meeting people's expectations, and because you've already set the bar so high and you cannot come down at any point, was very hard. But we were the talk of town. We didn't need any marketing.
What were the expectations?
High energy classes, the best in class trainers. That's your biggest expectation for the money they pay. And they paid a premium. Like, at one point they were paying 40,000 per annum, which most places in Indiranagar or in Bangalore don't charge. And another thing that I'm super proud of is all these 3 years that we ran the club, we didn't give discount even one single day. Not one single day.
Not even on promotions?
Never. We didn't have anything called promotions. The only time we had the opening was the pre-sale, when the building was even ready. From the day it was ready till the last day that we gave it away, right? We CureFit bought the place. So till then, we didn't have 1 penny discount for anyone, for anybody. Like, they could be my best friend or whoever it is.
Wow.
Nobody went through a discount process. This is the price today, and that is it. Right? So
is that something that was because of you, or is it like
I think it was a faith in product. So this confidence.
No, I'm saying the decision not to give discounts.
So that was because we had a good word. Oh, the decision not to give discounts was.
Sometimes it's got to do with the person behind it.
No,
they don't believe in it.
So Sudeep always said that no, you have to have these marketing things going. Today, I think yes, he was right. It's important to do these promotions on and off. Every brand does it. But I would always give him the. Okay, I may sound stupid, but I would say Louis Vuitton doesn't do it. Why should we do it? So I just had so much faith in the brand, Karthik, that I was like, this is it. I mean, people love this product. Why do I have to discount my product when it's so good? And I'm not a salesperson.
Yeah.
I would never understand that. But the confidence came because of the pre-sale that I did. I knew if I could sell 108 membership without even the structure being ready, that means there's something about us and about the product that people want to come and invest in, right? So why am I even discounting my product?
Right.
It was just that. And it worked beautifully. I know maybe if, according to Sudeep, if we had to like do some promotions, we would get more members. I'm not saying no. I'm saying instead of 300, maybe we would have 400 or 450. But it would still be at a lesser price, right? So yeah, I mean, there are pros and cons to everything. I just feel proud about the fact that, we managed to do that when you had so much competition, because Indranagar is filled with pubs and clubs.
Right.
Like fitness clubs.
Yeah.
So people are spoiled for choice.
Right.
But if you wanted like a place like this where the facility is great, the toilets are great, the trainers are best in class, then you had to pay.
So coming down to the facility, I mean, again, my idea is to just jump a little deeper, because anyone could have built this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Why you?
It's going back to my point of, I never imagined to do this. It's because somebody came to me and said, Shwe, I think we should do this, and I think you will be great, doing this with me. I said, okay, let me do this with you.
But how did you at that point, I don't know about Bangalore in 2014 or 2013 when you actually came up with all of this, but I don't think in India it was that popular to have a fitness club of this kind.
No, it wasn't a necessity at all. It was a luxury, absolutely. Fitness as such I think it still
it was
is a
there,
luxury.
Fitness One and others were there, but then everyone went with the machines.
Yes.
And
so I think again, like how when I started Zumba in 2011, I was in a niche market.
Right.
When we started this in 2014, we were in a niche market. Today, it's all the centers. I mean, Sudeep, of course.
No, I mean like beyond, because being in India, I've seen such facilities.
One of the other centers that really, which I look up to and I feel like we should be that, was Fitness First. I mean, today we've acquired Fitness First. CureFit has acquired Fitness First. That's a different story. But Fitness First for me was aspirational, and it was for Sudeep as well.
Why?
Because they were best in class.
What is best in?
They had the finest space, right? They had a lavish amount of space that they would play with. They had all the machines required, but their group exercise, which we were about, was the best in class. Nobody could match up to their group exercise and the trainer standards. They were excellent. There were 2 Fitness Firsts in Bangalore, both of which got shut now, but they were phenomenal. Like the space was beautiful. Like a lot of the studio ideas that we got here was from there. The way we wanted the stage, the way we wanted the sound, all of that is from there. So that was an aspirational thing for us, that we wanted to be that best in class. There was nobody else who we would, want to be like or compare, because there was nobody else. But it was just that. And the primary goal was to make fitness fun.
Right.
Why would a lot of the women come into our classes? A lot of the housewives, why should they come into our classes?
Right.
Right? Only because they're having fun with it. And in the bargain, they are going to benefit from exercising.
Right.
Right? Why do a lot of people go to the gym, pay and not go back? Because it's not fun. It's simple. If you're self-motivated, you're going to go.
Right.
If I am not self-motivated, but I have a goal, I may push myself, but it's not going to be great every day. But if I'm enjoying something, I will go without a reminder. It was just that.
Got it.
And we managed to hit that goal. Our goal was to make fitness fun, and we ensured that every single class, like if you look around, you have all these red lights and everything
Right.
around here. So here we used to have the cycling classes, right? So we had the trainer sitting there and all the people cycling together. So the crazy trainer, the lights keep flickering like you're in a disco. So
Right.
you just wanted to make it fun.
Right.
Okay? That was the goal, and yeah.
So 2014, like you open this place. There are people walking in all the time.
Yeah.
You are cleaning toilets. Grouting work is happening in the night. Now, what was your? Where did you expect
This to go?
to be in a year from now or 2 years at that point? I mean,
I said to myself, this is it. This is a lot of hard work, and I don't want to have one more club. Right? I mean, this is going to take all my time, and at some point I want to have babies, you know.
Right.
And I'm not going to be able to like do so much work and focus on kids. But again, as luck could have it, then 2014 was this. 2015, VR Mall Bengaluru approached us. We didn't go to them. They came to us and they said, inside our mall, we want to create a fitness center, and we've heard great reviews about you. And they came and saw the place, and we love the look of the place and the concept of no machines. We want you there. So I'm saying, no, I don't think we should. Then we go and see the place, and the place was stunning. Like they had a pool, and you know, they wanted us to utilize the pool and everything. So Sudeep and I got carried away. We said, okay, this is a beautiful space and we can do magic with this. So fine, let's just take this one and that's it. Right? So 2015 we started that. That was a bit of a struggle because it was inside a mall, but the space was stunning. That was living the fitness first dream.
Right.
Because that's how big the space was.
And you probably need to hire more people there because
yes.
Two of you were managing one center. Fine.
Yeah. We did. The hiring was not such a challenge actually. We managed to, you know, get a good
Then what was
set of
challenging
trainers.
there?
Challenge is always selling. That was right. We did enough pre-sale. Again, no problem. But you know, the center was inside a mall, and then it was a high traffic area. A lot of people would refuse to just come because of the traffic time. So things like that. So it wasn't anything else. But we sustained, and the mall was supporting us a lot, right? So it was both of us in it, not just us, right? Because they had also put in money into the whole space and all of that. But it went on. I mean, we survived it. And then 2016, we had LinkedIn come to us, and they say LinkedIn is very, very anal about, you know, their wellness and health space. Yeah, like they dedicate a good amount of space in their offices for health. So they said we want to set up a fitness center inside our office. And they had multiple people reach out to them and give them quotations, but they loved our concept of group fitness, you know, bringing people together, training under, you know, one trainer and all of that. And they wanted that. So, and that was actually one of the best deals because we didn't have to invest in real estate, making, selling, nothing. We would get like a management fee, you know, everything was pretty sorted. We just had to like have a good set of trained professionals going in training. So we accepted that. Right? But that was the smoothest. We didn't have much issues at all. So 14, 15, 16, 3 years, 3 centers. And I said, this is it. I mean, if you want, we will continue the corporate model because that works very well.
You were still doing the corporate.
We wouldn't mind. Right?
You weren't doing that when you did.
No. LinkedIn was our first. And we didn't even think along those lines. Right? It just happened. Again, it just happened.
Corporate model. Okay.
Yeah, that corporate model.
You were not talking about training.
No. I'm talking about like setting up inside a corporate. So we said 3 centers is more than enough, but Sudeep always, was of course the more ambitious guy, and he was like, no, we should do Sadashiv Nagar, we should do here, we should do that. And then he would like try and look out for investors to fund this. And I knew, I mean, the moment you have investors and this and that, and the route it will take is slightly different from when you own it. So we had Talwakars who came in and they wanted to buy us. We had Fitness First who came and wanted to collaborate because they were kind of, and for some reason we said no and no, and Sudeep continued looking and I continued hoping and praying that we don't have anybody, right? Because I was just happy running these places because the struggle was real, it was there. You still have to ensure that every month your rentals are paid, your people are paid more than anything else. And all these years we were not taking a salary.
Wow.
I was working for free.
All the way to 2016.
Yes. 2013 mid is when I stopped because of my injury. 2013 April I think is when I stopped. Until then I was earning, but I was doing events on and off. So those events also gave me money, and I was doing the trainings. So I used to do the Zumba training, so that also gave me some money. But otherwise it was really Vivek, depending on my husband. But these years also no salary, so we were okay with that. At some point I know we would make money. Then CureFit reached out to us, Mukesh and Ankit, in 2016.
That's because of you looking out for investors?
Not really. Somebody connected us, but they were also, somebody connected us already with the Mukesh and Ankit, but they were also looking to buy out centers that are, kind of match the same wavelength and philosophy and are doing well, in its space. They were already expanding, right? Cult. They had acquired Cult and they had started expanding. They already had, I think, about 3 centers at that point. I think JP Nagar, HSR, Sarjapur, and they just about started in Indira Nagar 100 feet when the talks were on. So I don't know what happened though. I mean, Sudeep also, was like, okay, should we do this? Should we continue this? Should I move out? Should I do something else? So there was a lot of, like, he would say something, I would say something. We were not, in sync with what we kind of wanted. So there were things like kind of falling apart also with both of us because there's some difference in thoughts and all of that. And then with multiple conversations, with Mukesh and Ankit and all, I thought it was the right decision to give it away, right? Because they wanted to acquire.
You came out of the corporate, you came out of all of that, you wanted to do what you liked doing a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, you did it. And you kind of lived your dream. And you had more control of things.
Yes.
Of what you were doing.
Yes. But I think, I mean, nobody else would have been able to convince except probably, a Mukesh Bansal. What their vision was to really, yes, there are 2 centers, 3 centers, there could be other investors, but his vision was like really insane. He had a vision of hundreds of centers across the country. So here I am, who started with 1 student, wanting to reach out to more people to change their lives, then creating a place like this to touch more lives, and then to be working under a strong banner of Mukesh and Ankit, where I am going to be able to touch lives across the country and not in one city. So that was the thought that completely changed everything for me. I said, I have come this far doing so much. Everything is a lot of hard work from all of us. Now, instead of just giving ourselves to someone who we do not know, here is somebody, which is CureFit, who knows exactly what their vision is. Right? They want to grow, and we've already seen the speed at which they were growing. And we said, you know what, I think this is the right thing to do. Because we may dilute the product a bit, we may do different things, we may take some amazing stuff, we may give away some amazing stuff.
We may give discounts.
Yes. But I knew that I was going to work for a larger forum, reach out to bigger audience, It could be through the digital stuff that I'm doing right now, which people sitting even in indoor can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're literally 10xing or 100xing your reach.
Exactly. Which didn't make sense to me, right? I'm not the 10x, 20x kind of person at all.
But you want to reach more people.
Yes.
Because you always love connecting with people, and if you can have a wider, greater impact.
Exactly. That is the only thing that changed my mind, and I said, you know what? I will go with this. So, like I said, Sudeep and I had a lot of different thoughts during that phase. So, he chose to walk out. He chose to exit, and I chose to continue. So 2016 end is where everything kind of got dealt with, and he chose an exit. I chose to work with CureFit, and I started off with 2017 Feb with CureFit, and now it's 1.5 years that I've been with CureFit, and oh my god, I can't begin to tell you the experience. It's mad. Amount I have learned in 1.5 years, but the struggle is real. It is a startup. It's like going back to corporate. You came away from corporate, now you're back in the corporate. But you're doing what you love doing, you're still changing people's lives, but it's difficult. I will tell you that much. It's extremely tough.
You're back to having a boss.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I won't complain because I love the people I'm working with. Again, the cult team that I'm working with is amazing. And again, I had Sudeep who was there telling me do this, do that. Here in cult, I have Rishabh. Rishabh Talang is the one who initially started cult and got acquired, right? So I have him, and we all work together. So yeah, I don't know how. I just managed to find these people who will always get the best out of me, I guess. So
well, I think you said it multiple times so far, right? You have that energy. You're trying to exhibit. I mean, there is this theory of showing that says that when you attract what you want to attract, what you stand up for.
Exactly. And I am so thankful, I mean, for everything that has happened all these years, to everybody who was involved, because it's only helped me get bigger, reach out to more people. And this is what I really wanted. I'm not sure if the corporate is what I wanted, but the reaching out to the masses is what I wanted. And today I know, back then also I would do an event and have 500, 600 people. Today we do an event and we have 1,000+ people, right? Reaching out to that many more. And working with different brands. Like I've worked with every possible sports brand, right from Nike to Puma to Reebok to Adidas to everyone. The experience is phenomenal. Like what each one does to you as a brand, what you can do to them as a brand, it's amazing. Like starting the first fitness radio show, I've had the opportunity to do that, and it's all because of the way it's just work with people. Like people talk about you, they may not, I have people who talk about me who's probably never taken a class with me, right? And I think the only reason they do that is because they've seen that a class with me has impacted a friend of theirs, and it's again word of mouth. So it's just been a difficult, beautiful journey.
Wow. This is what you call as a dream run, perhaps.
And today we're 64 centers between here and Hyderabad and Delhi, Gurgaon. And we handle trainers and training and all of that. And it's crazy. I don't even know how we manage it. And by the end of this year, we're looking at 100 centers. So the vision is so clear and so amazing. And I think the other aspect of all this, what I love is we're making fitness so holistic, because we have under the CureFit banner, right? We have cult, which is workout. We have mind, which is handling yoga, meditation. We're also starting therapy, knowing and looking at the future that depression could be one of the greatest things that will hit this country soon. It is there, but nobody talks about it for obvious reasons. So diabetes is right on top. But depression could be the next big thing, is what Dr. Sham, who we work with, always says, right? And so MindFit is going to really help us, build that group and mind therapy to cater to people and the masses. Then we have Eat Fit, giving you healthy, halka khana. And I'm not exaggerating because I'm working for the brand. But you should just look at the kitchen, right? We don't even have a refrigerator. Like everything is fresh. What comes in goes out into the cooking and goes out, right? That's how much they look at. Like the chicken that they get in is all organic. Like we have a vendor who will only supply, like, you call it nati,
Right.
So organic, because most of it is adulterated today.
Right.
So that's how much work goes in creating this, right? Then we have CureFit, because we know diagnostic is important. We know, your health checkup regularly is important. You have to do a certain amount of prevention no matter how fit you are.
Right.
So it's like one stop, like everything is just there.
No, I think this is a fantastic way of reminding people more than actually serving the actual customers. I think by and large, reminding people, even those who don't perhaps interact with this entire organization, that everything is interconnected. What you eat is connected to how you look, to how you think, to
exactly. And like I'm one of those examples. Like I would look super fit from the outside, I'd have high energy and all of that, but when I do my blood test, I would have my B12 low, my iron would be low, and all this is a cause of food or certain things that you've exposed yourself to. So if you don't have the diagnostics sorted, no amount of hard work put in the gym.
Totally. And I've kind of been talking about this on whichever channel I am on, including my website, and that's what drives us. I mean, my brand, Design Your Thinking, is all about that. You can change the way you think.
Exactly.
And everything is interconnected. I'm so happy that I'm talking to somebody who is actually involved with making all of this happen and spreading this message.
It is. I mean, it's 7 days of work, 365 days.
Talk about it.
But it makes
when
me happy.
do you spend time with Vivek?
Never. No, so it's been the last 1.5 year, when the switch has happened from tribe moving away to it becoming cult and CureFit and all of that, I honestly haven't had any time. He understands. I mean, the kind of man he is, he knows this is what had to happen for my career, which in turn benefits both of us. In fact, I must say, he actually quit his job in December.
Wow.
So of course, that's thanks to the fact that I have something stable going on right now, because we have a salary coming in and all of that. So, and I'm so happy for him, because all these years he helped me, he supported me when I really needed it the most. And I think it's only fair that, I let him take some time off and support him when he does what he wants. So he's just training himself, training a couple of his close friends, and kind of running the household, which I'm not there to do, buying plants for the new home garden.
No, I think this is an important topic, and I can't talk enough about it, and I'm so happy that you are standing up for it, and you and Vivek, both of you. And most often, this is a perception that people have, that men go out and work and women run the show at home. And I have such a deep respect for women, especially people who are going out and living their dreams, that my humble request to all of you guys listening, do take some time to appreciate what the women in your household are doing, because they're doing a lot of work. It's not just Shwetambari who's sitting here, but I think your wife, your sister, your mother, whoever it is, please take time to think about what they really want to do, and let's not put them inside four walls and say housewife or whatever it is. I'm so happy that
because I was probably one of those people who told myself, because of the surrounding that I grew up in, I would always say, oh yeah, you know what, I don't have to worry about earning money, because I'm going to grow up, I'm going to do X amount of studies, work for a while, and I know I'm going to get married to a fairly, decently earning man, and I'll just have some babies and run the household. But it's shocking how a woman who grew up in that surrounding, thinking like that, is today, earning for the house, and the house the word is house husband, so to say, right? And
there's nothing wrong in being that.
Absolutely nothing wrong, because I love the fact that he's taking time off for himself to just think about what he wants to do.
Exactly.
And he takes care of the home, you know, in every way possible, and I
Right.
couldn't have asked for more. Right? He takes care of me like always. While he was working or not working, he's still taking care of me. So
This is thanks. I mean, it's because of people like you and a few of us here. I think that hopefully the world would take notice of this whole
Yeah.
thing. And yeah, and this has been a wonderful conversation, Shwetambari. I mean, one thing I do want to ask you is, you've been online in the last 1-2 years.
Yeah.
And you know that online, women, being a woman and then being online, trolls and whatnot.
Oh,
Do you
yes.
have any experiences like that, good and bad?
So, you know, I don't know how I have gotten, again, fairly lucky with this. I've been online for whatever, 1 year, 2 years,
Right.
actively online. It's extremely tough.
Right.
If you give me a choice today, I will shut my Instagram, shut Facebook. Facebook, I'm not even active so much, but I will shut them all. Not because I don't want to tell the world what I'm doing. I love the people I'm connected with, and I'm there only for them. But it is exhausting.
Right.
Right? It's exhausting to another level, because you have a normal crazy job that you have to do, which makes you work 7 days a week, and then you have to like make these posts. But then every time I think to myself that maybe I'll stop today, I have all these people who are there to get some sort of inspiration or motivation from me. They're there because they're getting something out of me.
Right.
And they're there because they love me. And then I'm like, no, I can't be doing this to the people who are my friends, and I have to continue serving them. Right? I'm only there for them. And about the trolls that you're talking about, I've had no issues so far. I've had a few people trying to be a little extra friendly and all of that, but I think I have earned a fair amount of, you know, respect and love in the right ways, that I don't have these unnecessary people trying to, you know, push me the wrong way.
Right.
It's not been such a challenge. The challenge is just being on social media,
Right.
and always, you know, doing the right thing. I mean, doing the right thing, of course, it is our right. We have to do the right thing, but just being there is hard, because we also have days that are not so great, and I never really want to, you know, I don't talk too much about days that are not great out there on social media. Not because I don't want to, it doesn't bother me that people should know about it, but also because, I mean, if I can deal with something on my own inside my house, then I deal with it, right? I don't necessarily have to give the not so positive part to the people who are my, you know, who are following me. They're following for the positive vibes, for the respect and for the love, right? And for getting more inspired and more motivated. So I think, you know, you just need to know how to handle these things. And if something that bothers me, I know will bother the people who I'm connected with, then I talk about it. But if I know it's my personal thing, then I just deal with it. I come out of it, and then I'm not there again. But yeah, it's been, social media is hard, but it's been good. It's been good for me, a lot of learning. It's been good because I'm serving a lot of people. But, and the other thing that I actually didn't mention, or you didn't even ask me about this actually, is the fact that I don't, so in case we're mentioning this anyway, I don't even do Zumba anymore. Yeah, so in case, you know, you're gonna like mention anyway, I just want to be very clear, because this is all about being candid and honest and everything, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to tell you that I don't do Zumba anymore, right? So because I think it's been about a year now, and I stopped because I can say it was like a political fallout, which you may find extremely shocking, that there's something like as political as this even exists in the space of fitness. But
what is that?
Yes, it does. Well, I mean, I don't want to go into the details of it, but there are certain people that I wasn't very comfortable working with, and hence, you know, the decision of not pursuing it. Although that is what pretty much changed a lot of my life.
Right.
I decided that, yeah, and even they decided that, you know, it's best to kind of
I think it's an important revelation. And
yeah, I know. A lot of people, I think, don't even know
people
about
associate you with Zumba. And
Exactly. The good thing is I've not only been doing Zumba, right? A big part of me is strength training and weight training. I'm a lot about weight training, and that is one thing that I do to change perception, especially for women, right? The thing I talk about the most is about weight training. Zumba happened, and I was lucky that Zumba happened because through that a lot of things also changed.
So talking about weight training,
Yeah.
people have this perception that women should not be muscular.
Yeah.
I've spoken to women who've told me that verbatim.
So
What do you think?
women can never be as muscular as a man because our testosterone levels are a lot lower than a man's. Simple, right? Your testosterone is more. So for you, bulking up is a lot more easier. We have estrogen, you have testosterone.
Right.
Right? The human body, a man and a woman, is made very differently. So no, you will never become as bulky as a man if you weight train. You will have to resort to other things to start looking like that. So don't worry, I weight train, but I think I still look petite, and I still have my family saying, oh my God, you're so thin. I mean, I don't care because I can still deadlift 120 kgs.
So being strong has got nothing to do with looking muscular. Or
No. So
right.
weight training is to become stronger, to improve your strength, right? Improve your muscular endurance, muscular strength. It's not to get bulky, and you cannot get bulky.
Now, I just wanted to get this whole discussion off the
You and I can be doing the same kind of weight training, the same number of days, and we can see how you will get bulkier and I will get toned, maybe a little more toned than average women, but I will never get as bulky as you.
Got it. Perfect. I think this has been a fantastic conversation, and thank you so much.
I should say
Shweta.
thank you, because I mean, I'm so glad you reached out, because I've really enjoyed talking for you and talking for, you know, the people who are going to be listening to us, and it's been a lot of candid conversation, and I mean, a lot of stuff that I've never probably spoken about ever before in any forum I've said here, and it feels good.
All right, I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Shwetambari Shetty, and I really had a lot of interesting takeaways from this conversation, including things like what she described early on about just listening to cues from her life and taking on steps that would typically be perceived as risky, or things that would not be something that people would advise someone to do. I really hope this conversation inspired you to do that, and also lead a very healthy life. I think health is something that's mostly ignored by people. We are chasing careers, we are chasing money. While careers and money is good, I think health and being fit both inside and outside is something that I truly appreciate when people do it. So if you enjoyed this conversation, please go ahead and like this video wherever you're seeing this video. It may be YouTube or Facebook or whichever social media platform it is. Please like this video, share this with your friends, and if you're watching this on YouTube, do hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned for more such interesting conversations that I'm going to have with people like Shwetambari Shetty and so many others that you've used in the past. Thank you so much for listening, and until I see you in the next episode, cheers.